I'm like, bitch, where's the tree at?
Prosecutor in the SDNY, but also to ask for the case to be dismissed in and of itself. What's your reaction?
Well, my first reaction, who stood up for the reputation of the Southern District and stood up for the rule of law. She resigned. This is an extraordinarily respected prosecutor and a conservative, but she put the law first. Second, it really is Exhibit A in the orientation of the Trump administration. There was a case against a corruption case against Mayor Adams. The administration demanded the case be dismissed for political reasons. Political reasons. They had a prosecutor who stood her ground, and now they're indicting her and saying she should be investigated because she's following the rule of law. So it just really exposes, in very blunt terms, the agenda of the Trump administration, which is essentially to politicize the prosecutional power that the Justice Department has.
The great irony in that is, of course, the campaigning on the statements that the government had been weaponized against Trump, that the DOJ had been weaponized for political reasons. And as she outlined, as you rightly point out, they never looked at the underlying merits of the case. In fact, they didn't even touch it. It was about whether they believed that they had tainted a jury pool and whether it was difficult for Mayor Adams to do his job. And she points out in particular this idea of a kind of quid pro quo that they were asking for, that you drop the case against him without prejudice, I mind you, because he might be helpful in the immigration context, which of course keeps him under the thumb of the DOJ in case his work is not good enough. And they say, well, we bring the case. That quid pro quo, very alarming.
Incredibly. I mean, Adams is pledging to be the vassal of the president as opposed to the mayor of the people of New York. And the president, in exchange, is dismissing the case. And by the way, as you said, without prejudice. So if Adams doesn't perform, the president could restore that prosecution. You know, it really is absolutely horrible on one hand, but on the other, I'm really quite inspired by what the folks at the Southern District did.
You know, obviously, Emil Beauvais is the person as the conduit of the message from President Trump, but you're on the Judiciary Committee. Hakeem Jeffries believes that the deal being dropped should be scrutinized. What can your committee do?
We can't do much about that. And by the way, I actually think the person who did something that is really notable is the Southern District prosecutor, Danielle Sassoon. That speaks for itself. So we don't necessarily need an investigation. By the way, it's a Republican-led committee, so we wouldn't get one anyway. But we don't necessarily need one because the facts speak for themselves. The question is whether at a certain point, my Republican colleagues, because it's really going to depend on them getting to the majority, have to take the blinders off and say, wait a minute, this is not on the level. And our responsibility as United States senators is to stand up for the rule of law. And, you know, unfortunately, all those nominees that are getting appointed to, quote, Trump's Justice Department are getting confirmation votes from my Republican colleagues.
In fact, you've been critical about Kash Patel as a nominee for the FBI. They might very well have the votes. What can Democrats do to counter his appointment?
Well, number one, the reality is we don't have the votes. But what we can do is speak out and also in hearings be aggressive and try to reveal things, and we did. Kash Patel, I believe, lied. We asked him whether he had any knowledge about the purge that was underway at the FBI, and he, under oath, several times said no. Recent reporting shows he not only was aware of it, but he was directing it. And there's two things that are really problematic. One, being deceitful with the public and with Congress. But number two, an FBI agent, there's thousands of them who gets assigned to a case. They have to show up and do their job. And now, because they did their duty, you're going to fire them or you're going to send them to some distant location. We'll never hear from them again. The purge. That's pretty despicable. And, you know,
what can Democrats do about it, aside from keeping the public enlightened and informed?
You know, the reality
What's the next step?
The reality is we can do what we can do, which is try to expose it through the hearings. But we need the system. Hey, wait a minute, this is our government. We don't want these politicians in the Trump administration lying to us. Hey, this is to a career to make us safe, and we want to stand up. Now, if President Trump starts hearing that people are reacting because they see what's going on, that's going to have a big impact. So we play our role, but candidly, the American people play the role. You know, a lot of folks had reasons, good reasons, to vote for Trump as they saw it, but this is not what they were buying.
Senator Peter Welch, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Well, still ahead, is Elon Musk trolling Democrats who keep calling him President Musk? Because he made some moves today that certainly fanned their flames, like casually meeting with the Prime Minister of India. So were they talking Trump or talking business? Plus,
you have suggested, with regards to the Russia-Ukraine war, you've suggested several things that Ukraine should give up. The idea of NATO membership, territory that was seized back in 2014 by Russia. What should Russia give up?
President Trump's very revealing answer to that question next.
What's up, Carl Nation? It's your #1 broker with the best full-service wealth management skills in the biz.
Actually, I'm seeing something from Schwab.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, Schwab lets you invest and trade on your own.
And if you want, they can even manage it for you.
Not to mention, Schwab has a team of specialists for taxes, insurance, and estate planning, all with low fees.
We're experiencing technical difficulties.
Carl.
Schwab, a modern approach to wealth management.
When I started Walton Goggins Goggle Glasses, I had no idea what I was doing. But GoDaddy Aero does, using AI to build a logo, website, and social content, so I can let the world know. See, goggles ain't Goggins. They don't belong in Goggins.
Friday nights, you bring your A game. Flirty walks, you bring your A game. Bring your A game when taking care of your sexual wellness and include Apertude, a prescription medicine used to reduce the risk of HIV. Apertude helps give you continuous protection when taken every other month, and it's proven superior to once daily PrEP in reducing the risk of HIV. You must be HIV negative to receive Apertude and get tested before each injection. If you think you are exposed to HIV or have flu-like symptoms, tell your doctor right away. More HIV testing. Apertude does not prevent other sexually transmitted infections. Practice safer sex to reduce your risk. Get Apertude as scheduled. Missing doses increases your HIV risk. Don't take Apertude if allergic to it or taking certain medicines that may interact. Tell your doctor about your medical conditions, liver problems, and mental health. Serious side effects include allergic reactions or rash, liver problems, and depression. If these occur, get medical help right away. The most common side effect is injection site reaction. You bring your A game to everything you do. Ask your doctor about Apertude.
Rising costs, selective coverage. Countless Americans, the complex specialty care they need is always felt just out of reach. At Evermarket, we give members unrivaled access to the most complex therapies at the best prices, while providing enhanced support like in-home nursing at no additional cost. That is under Evermarket Health Services.
Big Staples Stick provides soothing, non-medicated big staples. Easy to apply for the whole family. Big Staples Stick. And try new Vapor Shower Max for steamy big staples.
How do you sleep at night? On a mattress and mattress firm. By sleep.
At the President's Day sale, save up to $700 on Sealy. Get matched at Mattress Firm, sleep at night.
Why would I use Hims to have my ED meds delivered to my door? I love pharmacy.
Why would I use clinically proven ingredients to regrow my hair from the ends?
I love wearing hats 24/7.
Why would I choose weight loss treatment I can afford through Hims? I love selling off my prized possessions.
Why wouldn't I get high quality care dress? I love Hims.
Get treatment you'll actually love at Hims.com.
Wow, you built this?
It was easy enough to find the parts.
Guess I just donated my car to science.
Looks like you need a break. The General gives you one with flexible payment options.
Look, a chemical reaction!
Oh. Question. Does that thing have a cost? for a great low rate. Go Vidya.
Hit it again, Jack. You all come back.
Have I got news for you? Saturday at 9 on CNN.
Elon Musk seems to be everywhere. Today, Musk, with his family in tow, met with India's Prime Minister Modi. The meeting drawing significant attention. But it seemed he took one very important person by surprise. Who? The President of the United States.
Elon Musk met with Prime Minister Modi earlier today. Did he do so as an American CEO, or did he do so as a representative of the U.S.?
Are you talking about me?
No, Elon Musk.
Elon, I don't know. They met. And I assume he wants to do business in India.
Whether he's meeting with a CEO or meeting with a representative of your government.
Well, he's meeting with me in a little while, so I'm going to ask him that question.
So personal or government business? Well, according to Prime Minister Modi, they discussed space, technology, innovation, and yes, minimum government, maximum governance. So both personal and government business. Joining me now, CNN analyst Golan Young, former senior advisor to Trump's presidential campaign, Brian Lanza, and Democratic strategist Chuck Rocha. Glad to have all of you here. Brian, I'll begin with you. Does Musk have any business talking to Modi about business and government?
Listen, I think mixing the two becomes dangerous because you can't. But Musk, as a special government employee, certainly has the right to meet with other elected leaders. I think, in the first term, you had many people who met with other figures in the administration that weren't President Trump. So that's normal. But I think crossing it over and doing the business and government, that becomes sketchy, and we'll see what it looks like. I think I hope Elon was a lot smarter than that, because that will erode even more the trust that they have. Like Republicans right now, it's not through the administrative state, but if it looks like he's putting personal interests instead of that goal, that's a real problem.
First, we're going to talk about conflicts of interest. If they're apparent, he'd ask questions and caught off guard about what someone in his own team is doing.
Okay, there's a political guy here. That's what I call the most. And I can't say I know Donald Trump like my good friend Brian knows Donald Trump. But I've run against Donald Trump enough to know that Donald Trump don't like to be surprised like that, or Donald Trump don't like to see other folks sitting in the nice chair with the flags behind them talking to the president of another country. There's lots of people, I'm sure there's lots of heads of state. I won't act like I know who they all are, but they don't make a production of it like that was done. And I think that will end up eroding some things about Trump.
It wasn't the only time that question also came up. You had Trump as well standing next to Prime Minister Modi when they had their joint press conference. And once again, the question directed towards Modi, the attention, the spotlight goes towards what was that conversation about with Elon Musk. This also speaks to a broader concern that we're hearing from government watchdogs, that we're hearing from readers as well, which is just the question about, who is watching out for a conflict of interest here. You have Elon Musk, who has been directed by the administration to go in and assess all of these different agencies. Well, President Trump also said recently that he wants the next agency to be the Pentagon. We know that the Pentagon also has contracts with some of Elon Musk's companies as well. My colleagues as well did reporting and found that at least 11 of the agencies that have been impacted by firings or resignations as a part of this really executive sort of, approach by Trump to try and cut down on federal bureaucracy. At least 11 of those agencies had ongoing complaints, enforcement, or investigations ongoing into Elon Musk's companies as well. I mean, these are some of the agencies that he's taking a look at, right?
And but there is, this is tonight as well, Trump administration has started some of these mass hirings. We're hearing of 1,000 employees at the VA alone who have now been, most of them are in the probationary period as employees. But besides the rallies they're doing and knowing what Zolan just talked about and the idea of the interplay of conflict potentially Elon Musk, what are Democrats going to do about it?
We have no power over any branch of the government right now, but what they could be doing...
That's a hell of an admission, even if it's true. For voters to hear, right? To think about there's no power here.
Right, because when you lose elections, you lose power. And we lost the House, we lost the Senate, and Donald Trump supported the last three Supreme Court justices while he was in office. But Democrats, that don't mean that you can sit back and you don't have to do anything. Draw in contrast. Because what the president's doing right now during his honeymoon stage is very popular with people. I'm a Democrat, and I will say that. If you go to some hardworking folks and say, we're going to make sure the left your tax dollars is going somewhere else and not right here, that's pretty popular. But if they continue to what the report room has been saying and going on, eventually something's going to break that's going to be very important. It's very important to lots of folks, not USAID, or not some other random thing. Something big's going to break, and it's all going to come down on that.
Like paper straws, which I know, had you known that all you do decide to talk about paper straws and you could find. I want to turn you on this because I want to talk about Russia. Trump was asked today about what should Russia give up.
Maybe Russia will give up a lot. Maybe they won't.
Why the hedge?
This is really dumb. Like, I don't know why they wanted to do this.
A week in which President Trump, obviously he'd had this major call with Putin as well. And, you know, just that call in itself.
So, have any dye packs gone off in the bags? You'd know because you'd be covered in paint. No? That means the transponders worked. Thank you, Avi Schwartzman. Keep going. Don't worry about the cops. Worry about getting to the canyon.
Bitch, move. Get out the way. Bitch.
Don't take this the wrong way, but I kind of wish you'd been killed back there. Or arrested. That way at least it'd be over. And I know, but this not knowing, oh, it's making me anxiety eat. Okay, you're coming into Chiliad State Park. We're almost out of this. Almost. Keep following your GPS. It'll take you through the forest, around the hills, toward the canyon. We've got an advantage on the cops right now, but it won't last for long. Let's make it count, people. Move before they figure out what happened. Okay, now this next bit's gonna sound crazy, but crazy's often what gets you out of trouble. You're coming up to a rickety old bridge. Cross it, aim for the cliff, and drive right off. Then pull your parachute and get in the boat we've left for you in the river. That's your way out. Come to think of it, Kerr's boots just before you jump might be the best way to get away from the cliff. Soon as you're airborne, ditch your bikes and start gliding. That's easy, right? Coming from a guy who walks with a cane.
Girl, we didn't make it, bitch. What are we doing, bitch? We didn't make it.
Currently, he has been sitting in a detention facility in Florence, Arizona, and he has a bond hearing tomorrow morning, and another hearing that looks to be scheduled at the end of the month. So right now, we don't know much until this bond hearing occurs tomorrow.
You don't need to be a citizen to join the military. And sometimes service can even speed up the immigration process, I understand. But as a non-citizen, are you promised anything else through your service?
You know, you are promised this pathway to citizenship. And then there is not really a system that allows that service member to have the necessary checks and balances to ensure that process is indeed happening for them. I actually was a Marine Corps recruiting for a lot of folks to volunteer to serve in the war in Afghanistan. And that was a big selling point, was that A, we were issuing 2-year contracts to join the service, and that there was a pathway to citizenship provided to those members. I've enlisted folks who are on temporary status, LPS, a variety of statuses that the United States is tracking, and they're able to join the service.
So, given that, then, and he, I think, was deployed 3 times to Iraq, if I read it correctly. He served.
Don't trust me, listen. You get to skip the line and go Hiroshima atom bomb. It might be. You start the war. A motherfucker might. No, I don't. Hit me with some bait and I see you with a gun. That's already who you are. Never team train. No, never team train. And I'm never. This is when I am pro knockout. When it's just when it's no harm done and you are just outing somebody just because you know the secret, like who I know you down low, and I just want to tell people they did nothing wrong to you. You found out about it and you're just exposing it, or you know it. That's when I think it's wrong. But why are you doing it? What's the purpose of doing it? Like it's not a retaliation. I think your actions towards me justify it for me. But me just saying it because I know, like I remember somebody asked me briefly about that girl who exposed those boys in Indianapolis if they killed them. I'm not justifying. I'm not justifying. But she was exposing these boys. They didn't do nothing to you. You weren't their girlfriend. You weren't their. You know what I'm saying? There wasn't a situation where you were dating them. You just walked in on them having sex. And now you know their team, and you exposed it to everyone. Not saying that they should have killed you, but I don't think you should have been out. You should have kept that to yourself. Now, if that was your man, what it is, baby, you out here fucking chickens and they booty hogs and lying to me. Oh, baby, I'm telling everybody. Is there a reason why Cherry outed the ball player? I think it just was whatever went on in the conversation was rude to her. Wasn't it also allegedly his cousin? I can't remember the exact details. That was a couple of years ago. In that case, I don't remember. He didn't want to pay Cherry. Gotcha. And if that's even weird, you don't want to pay somebody that you know is a sex worker. You coming to her, baby. Like, girl, you coming in my inbox playing on my fucking, get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of my face. You playing on my time. Why are you playing? Get out of my inbox. Oh, that's nigga. But is that a legit reason to tell someone to see? I think so. But it's not for me to decide that. It's for Cherry. Cherry's the one that's being employed by the okay? It's not for me to decide that. Would I do it? No. That's not a reason for me. But I'm not the one to decide. It is her. She gets to decide what is annoying about this conversation. She gets to do that. Just because you are not offended doesn't mean that I'm not. There's many things that I would be offended about that you're not offended about. Thank you, love. Thank you.
You see that boat in the creek? That's where you're aiming.
I'm trying to think of a scenario. Oh no, there's many situations where somebody will say, "Oh, that wouldn't bother me," but it will bother me. Oh yeah, you can have an opinion about it, but what clout is she getting? What clout? It's definitely not giving City Star if it's real. City Star was lying. This is it really happened in her inbox. I think there's a difference between me sharing something that is really happening and me lying about what happened. Like City Star. I think that's the distinct difference. Cloud chasing is a bitch's lying. Well, no. No, I think you're right. I think you're right in this. When I think about it, I don't think it's the Sydney Star comparison is right. But cloud chasing, if she's doing it for clicks, yeah, sure. But that's what she does, right? That's what we know her to be. That's what we know her to do. It may be true, but it's exploitative. Who is it exploiting? Oh, I love that you said this. Who is it exploiting? The dude? And so what was he trying to do with her by trying to get her to have him for free? What was he trying to do? Exploit her. So if she exploited him back, wouldn't that be fair game? Because he was trying to have her for free. He was in her box. He was in a sex worker's inbox wasting her time, trying to have her for free and use her body, use her dick, use whatever she got going on for free. So that's exploitation to me. As a sex worker, I would have felt like you're trying to waste my time. My time is money. And you sliding in my DMs trying to have me for free with no money, and you know I'm a sex worker, and I tell you I'm a sex worker, get out of my face. And so, slide in my DMs. Sure, exploitative, clout chasing for clicks, maybe. Is that wrong? If this is her grip, and this is her normal self, is it wrong? I wouldn't say it's wrong. I definitely wouldn't say it's City Star, but I can give you clout chasing, maybe, yeah, sure. But that's what she does. That's her grip. She gets on Be Go and do. That's what it is. That's not an equal playing field. Her doing that as a sex worker could fuck up future clientele because that might be like, damn, this bitch exposing niggas. Hell no. What's not an equal playing field? That's her risk to take about her career and her money. She could be able to do that. But when you say that's not an equal playing field, what do you mean? Who needs to be on an equal playing field?
Use the bike stand away from the cops and to get upstate.
Who said that I need to be equitable?
That's your exit.
in the games that I'm playing with the trades that's wasting my time trying to exploit. Who said that it needs to be an equal playing field? That's what I'm trying to get at. Like who this equal playing field, this fairness that you're trying to create, why is that important? Like why do I need to follow that? Who said that that was the rule? He went into disrespecting her. There you go. But that's what we're talking through. I'm trying to understand your mindset. Who said that there needs to be a...
Bitch, I have ice cream on me, bitch.
Who makes that equal playing field rule? Why do I need to?
He's probably patched in the chair of the Union Depository, and they're all about to tear the ass out of the chief of police. Cops on the street will be highly motivated to bring you down, but you don't need to worry about that. Just get to Raton Canyon. I've got a plan.
No fun with the rabbit. I know. Amen. That's what my grandma used to say. Ain't no fun if the rabbit got them.
So, have any dye packs gone off in the bags?
You're gonna even stop liking training cars.
Hello.
Hey, one stop coming to you, the next one who didn't know nothing about this, that's not, just go see you and be like, ooh. Let me slide a hold in with her ring. Yes. She was definitely clout chasing. It's almost genius how she knows how to make the interwebs go nuts as a content creator. The same techniques as she did each time. It works. Because people love to get the tea.
They do love the tea, bitch.
You know, I think if that's the lying part, that's the weird part to me when you lying about it. If it's true, it's just something I can fit it. Yo, everybody is using their team to clout chase. And everybody, when I tell my story, I'm using my own personal tea in my business to entertain y'all. It's just true. I'm not lying about it. And I'm doing it in a way that seems palatable. Do you think the niggas that I talk about in my Love Beneath stories want me to talk about it? No. You know how many of them niggas that slid in my DMs and said, ooh, can you take that down? And I said, no, that's my business to tell. This is what happened to me. But because I have a more, quote unquote, likable personality than Cherry, you have a level of class. Somebody else will say I don't. Carol. You ain't be Cherry Bomb, but I'm not Diane Carroll either. I mean, but we're on different levels of class. But we're still doing the same thing. Still telling her own business. She just telling it in a more bangy way. She's telling it in a. I'm telling it in a. I don't even know. I don't think it's bangy, but I'm telling it in a more. I'm a storyteller, so I make it entertaining. It's not just about the shock, sensationalism. We're telling it in a way that it's just not about the sensation of it. It's about the intimacy. It's about the relatability of it. I'm telling it with a certain humanity and care from my own perspective. But I'm still exposing niggas that we can respect it. I just do it a different way. I just do it the same thing. Different level of respectability definitely appeals to different types of black folks. Yeah, the way I tell it is just more palatable. And I'm not as dancey. I can't say that I'm not dancing at all, because I'm not as dancey as her. And so there's gonna be a likable, there's gonna be a more palatable way that when I can do it, it's gonna be more acceptable. As opposed to and you don't change names. I do not. I use the real name. And that's why they be sliding in my DM. Y'all remember that story that I told about, what was it? About the dude, I think it's called The Regret of a Good Girl. I think that's the name of the video. I was trying to but it can link it. It's called The Regret of a Good Girl. I think that's what it's called. The Regret of a Good Girl. And I tell the story about me befriending this cis girl and her boyfriend tried to have me, but I wanted to have him, but because I was growing my friendship with her, and I didn't want to ruin the friendship. And so I was being a good girl and I didn't have the trade, but even though I wanted to have him, but I didn't. And the next week, she dropped out of school and goes back home to Detroit. And I couldn't have him. Because we didn't ever become friends. One of our college friends, one of the girls who went to college with me. I guess a couple of people from my high school, from my college, that follow me. And so, and they won't engage. They'll follow me, but they won't engage. And they saw the story and sent it to his wife, who he's still with her to this day. He's still with her. And they sent and it's just me telling the story about how we didn't have. Like I'm telling the story that he tried to have me, but we didn't have. And they sent the story to her. And he slid in my DM. The old lady beat the dude with the broom. Yes. And he sent the video to his wife. And he sent me a message saying, and this is back when you could still send messages on YouTube. Y'all remember that when there was like a message box, and he slid in my message box and said, and asked me to take it down, and I said I didn't lie. No, I didn't tell. Was it the truth? He said, yeah, it was the truth, but it was between us. Like, was it? It involved you, but I'm telling my story. I do it all the time. I tell all my stories. That's my grit. That's my clout chasing. I tell my own story. That's why people like what I do. Because I literally tell my own story. That's literally how I started on YouTube. Y'all know. Like, I didn't have the experience to tell y'all about, ooh, I got surgery and I'm telling y'all how I heal. Ooh, I popped my first hormone. Now I've been on hormones for 1 month. Estrogen for 3 months. I didn't have the story of the early parts of my transition the way YouTubers was doing when I first got on here. The only thing I had to offer was my lived experience. And so that's what I was sharing. Like I had already been a woman for 10 years or more. I had already lived my life. So I didn't have the early, I've been on T for 6 months. I've been on estrogen for 6 months. I didn't have that. I didn't have that. I didn't have that to offer the YouTube community. So what I had to offer was my lived experience, my story. So yeah, I told y'all the story, the truth, and motherfuckers don't like it. They didn't like it. People who were involved in it. Only person who didn't say anything to me is two that didn't say anything to me about it was Gerald. Gerald was the only one who didn't say anything like negative about it. He like, me and Eric have talked. Me and Eric have talked, and he heard about it, but he knew me, so he knew I wasn't gonna not talk about it. He knew he could come to me and be like, take that down, and I listen to him. Bitch, fuck you. They know who I am. They know I ain't that girl. That's gonna be like, oh no, let me take this down. No, fuck you. You hurt me. I like the voice one when you said the mom came and you had to work on your voice in the morning. I don't remember that one. He came. Well, his mom came. Was that Jamarcus? Was it for Thanksgiving or something? Like she was coming over for Thanksgiving and I had cooked. Was that the one? Julia? But yes, it's the same thing. Same exact thing. But anyway, we got 30 more minutes. What else do you need to talk about? I wanted to come on here and talk about, if you're watching, thumbs up. It is 74 people in here watching. Thumbs up. Years ago, you said like in the morning you still working on your voice and you sounded like Yogi Bear. I'm trying to think of who that was. Not even Eric. But if it was the one with the
nation anywhere in the world have been very strong on tariffs, and I don't blame them necessarily, but it's a different way of doing business. It's very hard to sell into India because they have trade barriers, very strong tariffs.
CNN's is tracking the Trump Modi meeting live in Taipei. Good to see you, Will. So this is Modi's fourth. Modi is the fourth foreign leader to visit Donald Trump. This was his inauguration last month. Trump called him a great leader, but said India had the world's highest tariffs and it was a difficult place to do business. How was that meeting and the threat of more tariffs being viewed in Asia?
Yeah, well, it's interesting because President Trump actually called Prime Minister Modi the tariff king in the past, and Prime Minister Modi went to Washington, potentially expecting that this was going to happen and coming with a package of deliverables to bring to President Trump. And so you saw at that press conference these two men who have now met a total of 8 times since 2017, had a very good rapport, friendly rapport. They were flattering each other with compliments. And Prime Minister Modi is going through list of items that just tick the boxes of making President Trump pretty happy. Make India great again. MEGA plus MAGA equals mega. The kind of branding language that President Trump certainly resonates with him. He's impressed by.
No way.
Actually walk away with his work.
Commitment
to work jointly on the F-35 program, to work together on things like artificial intelligence and something the Biden administration would not do, Linda, which is to provide India with oil and natural gas. The Biden administration put environmental restrictions on the sale of oil and natural gas, but we know that President Trump doesn't think that way and is happy to drill, and sell, potentially lowering oil prices globally, making the United States a very competitive supplier. The U.S. wants to be India's #1 supplier of oil and natural gas. And that's apparently, if we're reading into the details here, that's how Trump and Modi plan to make up the majority of this trade deficit. So in the end, Modi can go back and he can point to his domestic political colleagues, some items that he got on his wish list, because it really could have been a very sticky situation for him. I'm not sure if he would have known that President Trump was going to announce reciprocal tariffs just hours after Modi landed in Washington. Had they not been able to have that press conference and have a friendly deal to announce, the outcome of this visit could have been very different for the Indian Prime Minister.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Ripley, good to have you staying across it all for us. Thanks so much. Sarah Sidwani is a political science professor at Pomona College. She joins us now from Los Angeles. Good to have you with us.
Thanks so much for having me.
So a great friend, how Trump described India and its leader, that certainly didn't stop him from threatening tariffs. It's saying essentially that he wants to even out the playing field. How would you describe relations right now between India and the US? And do you think these countries will avoid a trade war?
Well, it's a great question, Linda. And, obviously Trump has been really shaking up the world order in the last month since he's taken office. And Modi's visit is an important one today. Modi, of course, represents an enormous nation, 1.5 billion people, and an enormous market as well, which is something clearly Trump, as well as Elon Musk, are very well aware of. Modi meeting with Elon Musk as well. This is an incredibly important visit. They have had very warm relations in the past, and certainly Modi wanted to maintain those warm relationships, but those trade negotiations are absolutely top of mind for President Trump. And of course, Modi has seen his aggressive stance towards Canada, towards Mexico, towards China, and didn't want to be the next one on the firing block.
Yeah, as you say, the tariff war extends far beyond India. Trump is vowing to reciprocate tariffs on every nation. You spoke about Europe and China as well. I just want to play some sound.
The European Union is very difficult for us, very, very difficult. They tax our companies at levels that nobody's ever seen before. They take advantage of a lot of things, so we're not happy about that. China, of course, is terrible, and we've never taken in 10 cents until I was president.
He says the U.S. didn't take in 10 cents from China until he became president. How much truth is there in that statement, and what can those regions expect going forward?
Well, Trump has been very clear that he wants to have this tariff retaliatory policy worldwide. So, much to be seen in terms of to what extent he'll actually maintain that. For India's sake, it's the 10th largest trading partner with the United States, but it also is running a $45 billion surplus in India's favor. And we know that the way President Trump operates, he wants to make sure he's getting the best deal here, and at this point he doesn't necessarily feel that that's the case clearly. However, these retaliatory tariffs will come at a price for the American people. We will very likely end up seeing prices rise here in the United States with these tariffs.
Sarah, I just want to turn to Russia now. Regarding Russia's invasion of Ukraine, Trump says he trusts Vladimir Putin, a former KGB spy, on the subject. He sought to point the finger of blame for that invasion at the former U.S. president. I just want to roll some more sound.
I believe that's the reason the war started, because Biden went out and said that they could join NATO, and he shouldn't have said that. As soon as he said that, I said, you know what? You're going to have a war now, and I was right about that.
Why doesn't Donald Trump want to blame the invasion on Putin?
This is unclear. This is a very, very clear separation from the long history that the United States has had as an adversary of Russia. Certainly, even when the war in Ukraine began, Democrats, Republicans, all lined up behind and with support for Ukraine. And we can see President Trump really making an about face in this moment. So this is a real turn of events for the United States. It sounds like perhaps there's some sort of warming of relations between the United States and Russia, but this completely flies in the face of all of our diplomatic relations for for quite some time in the past. And India plays an interesting role in all of this. India has long had a relationship with Russia. It's often been the ace in India's pocket when trying to negotiate anything with the United States as well. We can always go back to our relationship with Russia. That might be changing given this new warming towards Russia from the United States.
Yeah. And of course, Donald Trump says time and time again that this war in Ukraine and the war in Gaza would never have happened had he been in office. It's hard to play hypotheticals, but could he have prevented either of these?
It's highly unlikely that the president could have prevented them. You know, there were a number of different world events that were taking place in the case of Israel and Palestine. Of course, we saw October 7th happen that ultimately started much of this conflict. In the war in Ukraine, we saw Russia advancing towards Ukraine. It's unclear exactly what it would have been that Trump would have done had he been president in order to change the outcome of these conflicts abroad.
We'll leave it there for now. Sarah Sadwani in Los Angeles. Appreciate you staying across all of that for us. Thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.
Well, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is now one of America's leading public health officials, despite his controversial views on vaccines and public health policy. Kennedy was sworn in as Secretary of Department of Health and Human Services Thursday. He's vowing not to get rid of any vaccines, but says more research is needed. Senator Mitch McConnell, a survivor of childhood polio, was the only Republican to vote against his confirmation. Well, still ahead, Hamas unveiled. The group is clinging to power during a fragile ceasefire with Israel. Coming up, a look at the uncertain future of Gaza.
Wow. Not even 100K.
Are you still paying full price for gas? Stop leaving money behind every time you fill up.
Thanksgiving, that was Jamarcus. I like the one story of your graduation. That one was sad. Pisces season, I think that's what the name of that video was, Pisces season. Have you been seeing that stuff about the internet comedian T.C. Caldwell? I've been trying to get into it because he lives in Houston and I love him. He is my babe. I love him. And if he's down low trade, I want to have him. Speaking of the down low trade. And he needs to act right so I don't have to have him. So his wife is already doing it. But no, I met TC. TC is from Houston, so and I live in the Galleria area. He's always there, and so we've met, and he's cool as hell. Like he's cool as fuck. Looks like he likes the nins. Period. But you know, I had a butch queen or two in my day. Not many, but you know, just be quiet. Just don't be acting like a sissy. Nah, but he is so cool and so sweet and so nice. I can't believe. But nigga, that's a perfect example. Nigga, I find out you own the apartment that we're in, and you've been making me pay $1,000, and your mama, and it's your mother's apartment, and I think that we're going half, and I find out that you've been making me pay, and you really don't gotta pay because your mother owns the apartment. I'm exposing you. And his wife was like, "Oh nah, nigga."
Keep your eyes open.
That's what Jay did. Jay the one who said that. Yeah, Jay. Jay said that. So T.C. Caldwell, Torian, he got married to this woman. He got married to this girl, and he told her that we gonna go half on the bill. But what she didn't know is that his mother owned the building, and they wasn't paying rent because she owned it. And so she had been paying him $1,000 on her husband's rent, on the husband's mortgage. But he wasn't paying his half because he didn't have to pay half because his mama owned it. So he was literally causal fraud in her. Crazy. And so she exposed that she had caught him with men's and just exposed all the tea. And didn't she take over his webpage? Like she took it like I guess she found the she found the either password or something, so now she controls his like Facebook page or something. Ain't that what the tea was? I couldn't get all the tea because everybody. Sometimes I want you to just give me the tea straightforward. Don't. When I'm finding people finding out she logged in and took over. Yes. So she logged in and took over his page, but some people just too fucking long-winded with telling tea. Tell me the basic shit. But yeah, she logged in and took over his page. And now he don't have access to it. But he got it back now. Word. I live. So this is what happened. When you play shady games, you gotta know that shady games are gonna be played back.
Make sure y'all thumbs up as y'all come in. I have the chat set up to where it is subscribers only, so we won't be interrupted by racists and people that just want to come in and say dumb stuff within the conversation. So if you ever want to join the conversation, then become a subscriber. You have to be a subscriber. I always set it to where you have to be a subscriber for like 2 hours. So yes. So let's get it popping. Hey y'all. Hey Gigi. Chemo. My French connection. My American French connection. Kenya, how are you? Android, hey babe. Mwah. Jashawn, Brandon. Hey. So let's give some background. This is about Cherry the Boom. Cherry the Boom is, if you don't know her, she is a trans woman. She is an internet personality. She is. I don't exactly know what she does. Other than sex work. Does she do anything other than sex work? I don't know. But I know she's a sex worker and I know she's an internet personality. I don't know anything else about her, and that's not shade. That's just because I don't know. I don't know. Thanksgiving, that was DeMarcus. I like the one story of your graduation. That one was sad. Pisces season, I think that's what the name of that video was. Pisces season. Have you been seeing that stuff about the internet comedian T.C. Codwell? I've been trying to get into it because he lives in Houston and I love him. He is my baby, but I love him. And if he's download trade, I want to have him. Speaking of the download trade. And he needs that right. Even though his wife is already doing it. But no, I met TC. TC is from Houston, so and I live in the Galleria area, and he's always there. And so
we met, and he's cool as hell. Like, he's cool as fuck. Look like he likes the men's. Period.
Back off
I
it.
had a tweet or two in my day. Not many, but you know, just be quiet. Just don't be acting like a big thing. Nah, but he is so cool and so sweet and so nice. I can't believe. But nigga, that's a perfect example. Nigga, I find out you own the apartment that we're in, and you've been making me pay $1,000, and your mama, and it's your mother's apartment, and I think that we're going, and I find out that you've been making me pay, and you really don't gotta pay because your mother owns the apartment. I'm exposing you. And his wife was like, "Oh no." That's what Jay the one who said that. Yeah, Jay said that. So TC Caldwell, Torian, he got married to this woman. He got married to this girl, and he told her that we're gonna go half on the bill. But what she didn't know is that his mother owned the building, and they wasn't paying rent because she owned it. And so she had been paying him $1,000 on her husband's rent, on the husband's mortgage. But he wasn't paying his half because he didn't have to pay half because his mama owned it. So he was literally Uncle Friday. Great. And so she exposed that she had caught him with men and just exposed all the tea. And didn't she take over his webpage? Like she took it like I guess she found the either password or something. So now he controls his like Facebook page or something. Ain't that what the tea was? I couldn't get all the tea because everybody. Sometimes I want you to just give me the tea straightforward. Don't. When I'm finding people, she logged in and took over. Yeah. So she logged in and took over his page, but some people are just too fucking long-winded with telling tea. Tell me the basic shit. But yeah, she logged in and took over his page, and now he don't have access to it. But he got it back now. Word. Yeah, so this is what happened when you play shady games. You gotta know that shady games are gonna be played back.
But these are an $80 value. Yours 100% free. That's a huge 15-piece set with free shipping. Call or click now. 800-807-6648 or go to buyhammered.com. That's 1-800-807-6648, or you can order online at buyhammered.com.
Why would I use Hims to have my ED meds delivered to my door? I love pharmacy lines.
Why would I use clinically proven ingredients to regrow my hair through Hims? I love wearing hats 24/7.
Why would I choose weight loss treatment I can afford through Hims?
I love selling off my prized possessions. Why wouldn't I get high-quality care I can trust? I love Hims. Get treatment you'll actually love at Hims.com.
Isn't it kind of crazy how simple things make a big difference? Like almonds. Just blend them up with water and salt. Oh yeah, that's good. You know what other simple thing makes a big difference? A good walk. Michelle, do you fancy a walk? Okay, we can race. Not giving her a head start again. Calafia organic almond milk. Just almonds, water, and salt.
I'm Hanako Montgomery in Tokyo, and this is CNN.
You're watching CNN Newsroom. I'm Linda Kincaid. Good to have you with us. Well, government leaders from around the world are gathering in Munich, Germany for an annual security conference that begins in the coming hours. It's happening as U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth walks back part of his comment about Ukraine's NATO membership. He said Wednesday that it's unrealistic for Ukraine to expect to join the alliance after the war with Russia. But on Thursday, Hegseth said NATO membership is not off the table, and that the issue is ultimately up to the U.S. president to decide.
These negotiations are led by President Trump. Everything is on the table in his conversations with Vladimir Putin and Zelensky. What he decides to allow or not allow is at the purview of the leader of the free world, of President Trump.
Well, the European Union is pushing back against any peace deal being negotiated behind its and Ukraine's backs. Mr. Trump had a phone call with Russian leader Vladimir Putin Wednesday and said that they agreed to start peace talks immediately. That led to fears an eventual deal would favor Moscow and leave the EU and Ukraine out. The EU's foreign policy chief didn't mince words reacting to that conversation.
It is clear that any deal behind our backs will not work. Any quick fix is a dirty deal.
Ukraine's President Zelensky is also concerned, even though Mr. Trump spoke with him Wednesday. Mr. Zelensky says any agreement without Kyiv at the negotiating table is a non-starter.
It's important that everything does not go according to Putin's plan. We as a sovereign country simply will not be able to accept any agreements without us.
The Trump-Putin conversation was not well received amongst Ukrainians, Matthew Chance reports.
As the Trump administration talks peace in Ukraine, Moscow is pressing hard on the front lines. This, the latest fighting in war-ravaged Donbass, where Russian forces have been advancing relentlessly. No wonder many Ukrainians feel skeptical of Trump's brash diplomatic push.
There's a lot of noise, and Trump sends the signal that he wants to end the war, but I don't think Russia is interested in ending it. And so, unfortunately, no matter how much we want peace, I don't think it's possible.
Thank you very much. There's also alarm that Ukraine is being sidelined. President Zelensky was left meeting the U.S. Treasury Secretary in Kiev this week as President Trump spoke directly with Vladimir Putin, the Kremlin's strongman. Trump and Zelensky spoke afterwards. But for Ukrainians, Washington's priorities are worryingly clear.
I think Trump and Putin can have good relationships, and it's bad for Ukraine because we can't talk about war and about Ukrainian people and about our situation without our president or our people.
At this makeshift memorial to fallen soldiers in Kiev, poignant reminders of the sacrifice Ukrainian troops and American volunteers have already made. But Trump's recent remarks that Ukraine may someday be Russian and concessions on NATO membership and territory have left many Ukrainians feeling bereft and betrayed. Why did these guys die? And why did they even defend these territories? Asks Alexander. That's why I don't think it's acceptable, he says. We should not give up our land. But in this new era of Trump-Putin diplomacy, Ukrainian hopes and expectations no longer take centre stage. Thank you, Chance. CNN London.
At least 28 people were injured in Germany when a car plowed into a group of demonstrators in Munich Thursday. Bavaria's governor says the incident is suspected to be an attack. Police say they've detained the driver and that he's believed to be a 24-year-old asylum seeker from Afghanistan. The car ramming happened as world leaders attended the Munich Security Conference. It also comes out of this month's German elections, where immigration and security are key issues. We're going to take a short break. Much more news in just a moment.
Are you still paying full price for gas? Stop leaving money behind every time you fill up. Start earning real cash back. Download the free Upside app to get cash back on every gallon of gas you buy. It's that easy.
I don't understand how more people are not talking about Upside. It's a free app that literally gives you cash every time you get gas.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I just got cash back for commuting. Already made like $200 to $300.
So I thought it was too good to be true, but it's legit. I'm getting cash back every time I fill up my tank with Upside.
Download the free Upside app now to get cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code ACE for an extra 25 cent a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's promo code ACE for a 25 cent a gallon bonus. Are you still paying full price for gas? Stop leaving money behind every time you fill up. Start earning real cash back. Download the free Upside app to get cash back on every gallon of gas you buy. It's that easy.
I don't understand how more people are not talking about Upside. It's a free app that literally gives you cash every time.
You're annoying.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I just got cash back for commuting. Already made like $200 to $300.
So I thought it was too good to be true, but it's legit. I'm getting cash back every time I fill up my tank with Upside.
Download the free Upside app now to get cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code
They don't
ACE
have
for an
any
extra 25 cent a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's promo code ACE.
Cheap viewers.
Morse Mutual Insurance. How can we help you? I think we can handle that. course, Mutual. We're here to help. Sure.
Got a hot date for tomorrow? Kind of. It's not really a date per se, an outing with friends. It's Valentine's Day. Are they friends with benefits at least? Not in a sexual way, but they are most definitely benefits to being friends with them. Why? What are you doing tomorrow, Parker? Just living another day of parasocial relationships with Twitch streamers. Okay, well that sounds like fun. You can hang out with people like me. How was the Super Bowl down there? It was wonderful. I wish I was like, I could have hung out with the celebrities and everybody. It was great. The game was like a nail biter too. So, yeah. Like if I would have bet, I would have lost everything. Everything. Which shop makes the best king cake? I mean, that's really opinion based, but to me, in my humble opinion, I'm gonna say Randazzo's because that's what I grew up eating. So, yeah, that's what I'm gonna go with. But everyone has their own preferences, you know. It is what it is. Interesting. Do you go original or cream cheese? Ew, gross. Only original. I don't do no filling crap. I don't do that. I don't get down like that. How about you? You seem to know a lot about king cake. Are you from here? Or live here? In the great state of Louisiana? No, I never had one. I tried to order one from Don Fong, but they sold out for online orders. Yeah, everyone raves about Dong Fong, but I'm just like, I'm good. Looks like Randazzo's is sold out too. Oh, they're definitely gonna be like restocking soon. Like, maybe sold out right now, but they're definitely not gonna be sold out for long. Because I know they ship all over the country, probably the world. But yeah, Randazzo's, that's where it is. That to me tastes like Mardi Gras. Randazzo's taste like Mardi Gras to me.
All our operators are on call.
You need something, huh? One of your rides? Let me know. It's coming at you.
Got some cool stuff here for you. So what you looking for? Gotta line them up. Yup, gotta load up before you head out. Hey, you know I grew up a couple blocks over from Franklin. Ain't such a small world, though. When I heard about this job, I pulled every string I had.
Alright, kids. You're making a pass at the Lost out near my place by the Alamo Sea. I've left some silenced weapons in my garage for you, so head here first. The plan is to go in when most of them are sleeping. You take out the guards and take the vans. Then they wake up in the morning and all their buddies are dead and they're short their stash. Oh man, it'll be hilarious.
You too. You know better. You know better. It's a long game.
Okay, well you might not believe this, or you might, because I'm just so plain adjusted. But I went to a therapist one time, and that lady played the same game as you do. The appointment would start. I'd come in, take a seat on the couch, and she'd sit there. Total silence, like a rock, with glasses and a scribbly little pen. But I was too smart then, and I am too smart now. I'm not falling for it. No, ma'am. What right do you got to sit there and ask me about my mom? With your eyes, or your ears. You're the perverts with those thoughts. A man can love his mother without loving his mother. One day she'll need me, and when she does... All right. End of story, you sick freak. Breathe. Well, that, ladies How you doing? Huh? When you're close, get out of the boat and creep up on them. Don't let anyone see you. If you're seen, they'll wake up the other guys, and the surprise will be ruined. That'll be guys standing around, kicking the shit, and guys on patrol. If two guys are looking at each other, you're gonna have to take them down at the same time. Do not move on the vans till you got all the guards. We need them all gone before you move. I wish I was there with...
has control over that, and how could those funds be used?
So that money is under the control of a variety of national banks in Europe. I think, if I remember correctly, the largest tranche of that, which was in the Netherlands, those monies have been frozen on the basis of the international sanction regime that the United States led and convinced other countries to put in place. They can be released by the countries that hold them right now. And there's questions about how to do that in international law. But Ukraine has been asking for that money for rebuilding for quite some time, and no one's been willing to do it. And it would seem that the Trump administration would not be in a position to be, pushing for those assets. That would most likely be something that Russia wouldn't accept in any negotiations. They want that money back.
And of course, what land? What signal does that send to other world leaders?
It sends a signal that Putin got what he wanted, and I mean in the sense that his number one international policy priority has been to establish the idea that international law doesn't constrain what countries can do if they claim that they're doing it for domestic reasons, right? And remember, from the Russian standpoint, this isn't an international war. It's a war to regain territory that is rightfully Russia's. And so using that excuse, using that logic, leaders all over the world could justify and arguably get away with these kinds of land grabs. It's devastating to the world order.
And of course, the new U.S. Secretary of Defense, Hegseth, spoke on this issue yesterday and today. He said that any security guarantee offered must be backed by capable European and non-European troops, as you mentioned earlier, and also that Ukraine should not be guaranteed any seat in NATO. Just take us through those comments.
First of all, those comments were mostly about President Trump, and they were directed, I think, to him from his Secretary of Defense as a way of saying, I'm repeating what you're saying to me, boss. I'm putting that message out there. It was a message that said Ukraine is not going to be able to dictate terms in this negotiation. And then, to me, underneath it is this message where what's really important is the idea that Donald Trump is at the center of this and will be conducting these negotiations. It was important that Hegseth said that they were the most complicated negotiations in the world, and that the president was going to swoop in and do this, all of which while not answering the questions from the press poll about things like, who are these non-European troops? How many troops are we going to put in place here? What's the security guarantee going to look like if it doesn't involve Ukraine being part of NATO? And none of those major questions were answered, which suggests that there's no real plan in place yet, except for giving Russia what Russia has already asked for as prerequisites for negotiations.
We will talk about this again, no doubt, very soon. Matthew Schmidt, good to have you with us. Thank you.
Thanks.
President Trump is following through on his campaign trail threat to impose reciprocal eye-for-eye tariffs on all countries that send goods to the U.S. The tariffs were put into motion via executive action, but won't take effect until April at the earliest. That gives countries time to potentially negotiate new trade terms with the U.S. President Trump's nominee for Commerce Secretary defended the need for these new tariffs.
Reciprocal tariffs sound fair. But when you understand how brutally unfair the world's trading has been since we opened ourselves up after World War II, right? We tried to export the power of our economy to rebuild the world. And what happened since then is everyone else has taken advantage of us. Some countries, like the VAT that the president spoke about, 20% on everything we sell, just casually. And when they sell to us, of course, they drop that 20 right away. So it's sort of an export subsidy, if you will. So we are going to address each country one by one. But here's the key. They'll get an invitation to trade with the greatest consumer economy in the world, and in exchange for trading with the greatest consumer economy in the world, you have to treat us the way we're going to treat you. It's going to be the same, but no more inviting bad people to the party.
Reciprocal tariffs are likely to further increase inflation. U.S. President admitted that short-term price hikes are possible and warned Americans to prepare for short-term pain.
Mr. President, because of these tariffs, who do you think voters should hold responsible?
Oh, I think what's going to go up is jobs are going to go up, and prices could go up somewhat short term, but prices will also go down.
So exactly what kind of short-term pain are Americans in for, and who might be hit the hardest? CNN's Vanessa Yukevich has some answers.
The president's saying that he's hoping that more jobs come out of these reciprocal tariffs. Essentially, that companies would choose to move their establishments and their businesses here to the U.S. to avoid tariffs, and that U.S. consumers would choose to buy made in America products to avoid a lot of these tariffs. But this is probably not going to happen at the scale that he's hoping. Instead, U.S. businesses are going to have to pay those higher tariffs, pass them down to the U.S. consumers, and ultimately figure out whether they can still afford their labor force. And on prices, he said that prices would go up in the short term. He is right on that. But likelihood here is that they're going to go up in the long term as well, because once you start reciprocal tariffs, that country can then reciprocate, and you have a trade war, you have tariffs going higher, and then you have U.S. consumers paying higher prices. And I want to address what he said on farmers. He said farmers would ultimately benefit from these reciprocal tariffs. History has shown us that oftentimes farmers actually bear the brunt of tariffs. We saw it with China back in 2018, that China put tariffs on U.S. agricultural exports, and that has hurt farmers so much that the federal government has had to actually subsidize them in order for them to be able to have to live and to pay for their farms and to keep in business. So these reciprocal tariffs, while they sound like they're tough on trade, they could actually have really bad implications for everyday Americans.
Joining us now is CNN global economic analyst Rana Foroohar, who is also a global business columnist and associate editor for the Financial Times. Good to see you, Rana.
Great to see you.
So Donald Trump loves tariffs. He's made that abundantly clear. He has now ordered his agencies to investigate plans to reciprocate tariffs for all countries. It sounds fair. What are the risks?
Well, this is all about an escalating trade war, right? Reciprocal tariffs and particularly the fact that there are these automatic provisions that essentially raise tariffs and ramp up what could become a trade war. I mean, this is exactly what people who fear a recap of the 1930s are worried about. Tit for tat, and then pretty soon you end up with really a very serious situation in which a trade war escalates, prices go up, you could begin to see geopolitical tensions. I mean, this is sort of the nightmare scenario for tariffs.
And of course, Donald Trump singled out India, saying it's one country that imposes some of the most unfair tariffs on U.S. goods. Just explain that for us.
So, to think about Donald Trump's psychology, you have to think about the U.S. consumer market as a kind of a chip on the global poker table. That's how Donald Trump views the U.S. consumer market. And, truth be told, it's true. The U.S. has lowered tariffs on a lot of countries in the last, 20, 30 years in ways that countries haven't always reciprocated. But that said, these sorts of unilateral tariffs, all
Welcome back.
with these reciprocal provisions, tend to not be the way to come out ahead. I would just say that. You could argue that India's duties on the U.S. Are higher in many areas, and that's true with many countries, actually. Whether it's a good time to be hitting India or provoking a trade war with India at a time when, their tensions are already high with China. You have Trump's adversaries and allies alike. I would argue maybe not such a great strategy.
And President Trump said Americans should be prepared for some short-term pain. Talk to us about the rebounding inflation problem, the fastest pace it's risen since August 2023. It looks to be on the way back up.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, these numbers were surprising. There are some one-off issues here. You know, prices of eggs, which have been through the roof in the U.S., that's partly due to avian flu. That's a bit of a one-off. But I think the concern is, okay, 1 month of increased prices, that's one thing. But if you look at what's coming down the pipe, tariffs, which we just talked about, immigration, a crackdown on illegal immigration, which you can like it or not at home, has actually contributed to a loosening of the labor market. So if you start to really crack down on that, that could create wage inflation. You know, a lot of these policy tax cuts tend to be inflationary because they're going to add more fuel to the economy. So there's a sense that, you know, one bad number, but could this be compounded by some of the policies that are coming down the pipe?
And Rana, when you look at the global tariff war, which countries will be hurt the hardest?
It's a great question. I think smaller countries that are not necessarily affiliated with one bloc or another. I mean, you start to see about 3 different blocs emerging in the world right now. There's a U.S.-led trade bloc, there's a Chinese-led trade bloc, and then there's sort of unaffiliated nations. And I think smaller nations are really concerned about where they fit in this paradigm. And you know, are they going to get hit on both sides? Are they going to be pressured by China as well as by the U.S.? I think Europe also sits in a very uncomfortable position right now because it's the recipient of a lot of cheap Chinese goods, which, you know, is difficult for their economy, at the same time that there are tariff threats from Trump. And so that's, you know, being squeezed on both sides. I think it's going to be tough for Europe.
Always good to get your analysis. Thanks very much. Well, TikTok is available for download once again for US-based users. App stores, including Google Play and Apple, restored the widely popular social media app Thursday. It follows promises by President Trump to save the app. TikTok's uncertain future stems from a law signed last April by then-President Joe Biden, which gave TikTok's parent company 270 days to sell the app to an owner from the United States or one of its allies, or face a ban due to national security concerns. President Trump issued an executive action on his first day in the office, delaying the enactment of that ban. Well, much more still this hour, including this. The mothers of 3 young Israeli former hostages speak to CNN, describing their harrowing ordeals that their daughters experienced in Gaza. Plus, the big meeting between the leaders of the US and India. We'll have a live report.
And just hours after Prime Minister Modi landed in Washington, President Trump announced reciprocal tariffs. Those could hit India hard. How did the two of them navigate that?
Are you still paying full price for gas? Stop leaving money behind every time you fill up. Start earning.
I'm not talking about upsides. It's a free app that literally gives you cash every time you get gas.
You putting gas in your car anyway? Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I just got cash back for commuting to work. I already made like $200 to $300.
So I thought it was too good to be true, but it's legit. I'm getting cash back every time I fill up my tank with Upside.
Download the free Upside app now to get cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code ACE for an extra 25-cent a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's promo code ACE for a 25-cent a gallon bonus. Are you still paying full price for gas? Stop leaving money behind every time you fill up. Start earning real cash back. Download the free Upside app to get cash back on every gallon of gas you buy. It's that easy.
I don't understand how more people are not talking about upsides. It's a free app that literally gives you cash every time you get gas.
You putting gas in your car anyway? Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I just got cash back for commuting to work. I already made like $200 to $300.
So I thought it was too good to be true, but it's legit. I'm getting cash back every time I fill up my tank with Upside.
Download the free Upside app now to get cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code ACE for an extra 25-cent a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's promo code ACE for a 25-cent a gallon bonus.
Your wallet is always in danger. Criminals can scan and hack your information without you even knowing. Worse yet, it's bulky and so disorganized. But not anymore, because Slim is in. Introducing Slim Mint, an ultra-thin RFID blocking wallet that keeps your cards and cash truly protected. And now may be your last chance to get it for a low price. Slim Mint uses the latest RFID blocking technology to prevent thieves from scanning your wallet and stealing your info. Having your information stolen is a nightmare. But with Slim Mint, I know I'm protected. With money clips, cash can easily fall out. But with the auto-locking Slim Mint, your cards and money stay securely in place. Then just press the button to release the lock. Slim Mint is ergonomically designed to optimize space and keep your belongings organized. It has a built-in cash clip and a flexible outer band to securely fit your additional cards and your extra cash. Even with everything you see here in the Slim Mint, it's still ultra-thin. Bulky wallets are uncomfortable, but the Slim Mint is so compact it fits in any size pocket. Plus, it keeps everything easy to access.
Slim Mint holds everything, from pictures to credit cards, my driver's license. Yeah, it's still so thin.
Say bye-bye to bent cards and damaged magnetic strips. Slim Mint keeps them protected. It's crush-resistant and can really take a beating. Similar wallets sell for over $100. But call or click now and get Slim Mint for just $29.99. Order in the next 5 minutes and you'll get an instant $10 discount. So it's only $19.99. But wait, due to rising costs and supply chain shortages, this may be your last chance to get Slim Mint at this low price. There's a strict limit of 3 Slim Mint wallets while supplies last. You still have time to get your very own Slim Mint wallets, but you must act fast. Don't wait. Order it now.
Call 1-800-504-6022. That's 1-800-504-6022. Call or visit slimmintwallet.com. So call 1-800-504-6022 now.
I'm a pet person just like you. If my pet ever got hurt or sick, it would just break my heart. It cost me the bank. So I got a pet insurance plan from Pumpkin. Bad things happen to good pets all the time. Pet insurance from Pumpkin. Get it before you need it.
I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta in New York, and this is CNN.
The fragile ceasefire between Israel and Hamas appears to be back on track after Hamas said it will release Israeli hostages this weekend as initially planned. Earlier this week, Hamas accused Israel of violating the truce and postponing the release of more hostages. In response, Israel said it would resume fighting in Gaza. After Hamas spoke with key mediators, Egypt and Qatar, it said this week's hostage release will proceed. One Israeli official said it seems the dispute will be resolved and that Israeli leaders don't want to abandon the ceasefire at this time. Well, family members of freed hostages say they're overjoyed to have their loved ones home, but they know there's a long road of healing ahead. CNN's Biana Golodriga spoke with the mothers of 3 young Israeli former hostages. They shared what their daughters went through in captivity. But first, a warning: this report contains disturbing video.
It was a homecoming that captivated a still traumatized nation. Young female hostages finally reunited with their families after 477 grueling days.
Daniela, she's happy, she's at home, she's free, and this is what's important.
On the morning of October 7th, Hamas terrorists attacked the IDF military base where 22 female soldiers were stationed as spotters along the Gaza border. Nama Levy, Liri Albag, and Daniela Gilboa can be seen wounded, bound, and threatened by their captors, surrounded by the murdered bodies of 15 of their friends.
Did your daughter tell you about the specific horrors that they endured in the video that we saw? October 7th is the most hard thing for her to speak about. She lost a lot of good friends of her, and the loss of them is very hard for her, even more than the period of time of captivity.
Images of Nama's capture in particular took the world by storm, as she was dragged by her hair wearing bloody sweatpants. Somehow, her mother says, she saw the video in captivity. and also heard her family's pleas for release.
She saw the video, she knew about it, and she did see myself and her father in different interviews. She heard sometimes on the radio her brother speaking, her grandfather speaking. So it wasn't an everyday thing, but sometimes she was exposed to the media, and it did give her a lot of strength and support and helped her throughout those days.
Shira says Leary was sometimes held with Nama and another recently released hostage, Agam Berger.
Leary most of the time was in apartments with civilians, with families, with the women of the captivities, with the children. It was difficult there because they need to stay to clean the house and to cook for them and to teach the children, to sit with the children and to try to teach them.
Just days after her own return, Daniela watched as her cousin, Eli Sharabi, along with two other hostages, came home appearing emaciated and frail. Their condition shocking almost everyone.
Daniela told me, Mama, just know that if we were released 2 months ago, I was looked like Ellie, because she also lose a lot of weight there.
Daniela told her mother that until recently she shared one plate of food with 3 other women. Prior to her release, she says she only had to share the plate with one other.
It's important to understand that it's not that we see Daniela, how she looks like right now. It doesn't mean anything about what happened there and how she felt there.
The priority now for these mothers, along with the majority of Israelis, is the urgent release of all the remaining hostages. And their appeal is largely directed at one man.
President Trump had a key role in mobilizing this deal, and for her to come back, and we know now, and his influence is crucial for this continuation of the deal and for the other hostages to come home, and we know how urgent it is. We see how urgent it is.
Bianca Rodriguez, CNN, New York.
When we return, another one of President Trump's controversial cabinet picks makes it through a tough confirmation battle with one Republican senator standing against it.
Are you still paying full price for gas? Stop leaving money behind every time you fill up. Start earning real cash. Download the free Upside app to get cash back on every gallon of gas you buy. It's that easy.
I don't understand how more people are not talking about Upside. It's a free app that literally gives you cash every time you get gas.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I just got cash back for commuting to work. Already made like $200 to $300.
So I thought it was too good to be true, but it's legit. I'm getting cash back every time I fill up my tank with Upside.
Download the free Upside app now to get cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code ACE for an extra 25-cent a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's promo code ACE for a 25-cent a gallon bonus. Are you still paying full price for gas? Stop leaving money behind every time you fill up. Start earning real cash back. Download the free Upside app to get cash back on every gallon of gas you buy. It's that easy.
I don't understand how more people are not talking about Upside. It's a free app that literally gives you cash every time you get gas.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I just got cash back for commuting to work. Already made like $200 to $300.
So I thought it was too good to be true, but it's legit. I'm getting cash back every time I fill up my tank with Upside.
Download the free Upside app now to get cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code ACE for an extra 25-cent a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's promo code ACE for a 25-cent a gallon bonus.
Box of videotapes, film reels, or photos that are degrading, Legacy Box professionally converts them to DVDs, thumb drive, or the cloud. Legacy Box is simple and safe, with over 1 million satisfied customers. Visit legacybox.com today and get 50% off.
Charges on a timer, keep that in mind. Remember, the gates you're going through are a special alloy. Only the thermal charges you got from the convoy will work on them. Stay in control.
This is CNN. More people get their news from CNN than any other news source.
I'm chatting with a live H&R Block tax expert. It makes doing our taxes online so easy. There's also this AI tax assist for help whenever you need it.
I think I need it.
Do your own taxes online with H&R Block and get unlimited expert help for free.
Some things are inevitable, inescapable, set in stone from the day we're born. And some aren't. Through HIMS, you can get access to a range of options made with proven ingredients to stop hair loss and regrow hair. Formulas are personalized and prescribed by licensed medical providers 100% online. Break tradition with HIMS. For regrowth in 3 to 6 months, get started today at HIMS.com.
Consumer Reports has named the 2025 most reliable automotive brand, Subaru. It's no surprise they also named Subaru the best overall automotive brand. It's special low rates on a new Subaru Outback for a limited time.
I'm Mark Stewart in Beijing, and this is CNN.
You're watching CNN Newsroom. I'm Linda Kincaid. Good to have you with us. Well, the U.S. president's newly announced reciprocal tariffs could hit developing countries particularly hard. Donald Trump singled out India as its prime minister visited the White House, saying they charge more tariffs than any other nation.
I had discussions with India in the first term about the fact that their tariffs were very high, and I was unable to get a concession. So we're just going to do it the easy way, and we're just going to say whatever you charge, we charge. And I think that's fair for the people of the United States. And I think it's actually fair for India.
It's unclear if the two countries' trade issues will be resolved. However, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that when India and the US work together, they will form a mega partnership for prosperity.
India and the US will jointly work in areas of artificial intelligence, semiconductors, quantum, biotechnology, and several other technologies. Today, we also agreed on trust, which stands for transforming relationships utilizing strategic technology.
Well, CNN's Will Ripley is following all the developments from Taipei and joins us live. Good to see you, Will. So Trump called India a great friend, but then spoke about the tariffs that India imposes on the U.S. and vowed to issue the same ones back. Take us through those comments.
Well, that obviously would have a pretty huge impact, given that the United States is India's #1 trading partner. India is the United States' 10th largest trading partner, so there's a huge trade deficit between the two. So Indian trade into the U.S. would be tariffed at a disproportionately higher frequency just because of the volume of goods going back and forth. And I think this really shows that this is now the 8th meeting between Modi and Trump. They clearly have a good rapport, good chemistry. They were complimenting each other during the press conference. But at the end of the day, Modi flew to Washington knowing that he's dealing with a much more organized and determined second Trump administration. And so last time around, even though they met all those times and had a great personal relationship, but in the end were unable to secure a new trade deal, I think the Indian side is aware that this time that isn't going to fly, that they needed to come to the table with some deliverables. I'm not sure that they were aware that President Trump, just hours before this meeting, would be making his big reciprocal tariffs announcement, which, of course, had a lot of chatter at home whether Prime Minister Modi's people would have liked the fact that this announcement of these huge tariffs around the world, but particularly hitting India hard with its high tariffs, would be made while Modi's actually on the ground in Washington. He could have lost a lot of face, potentially. But it sounded like at the end of their discussions, both of them were able to go down the list of items that would benefit both the United States and India. You heard Prime Minister Modi there list off some of the areas of cooperation. One way that they're talking about trying to close this massive trade deficit is that India will purchase a lot more American oil and natural gas. That's actually something that the previous Biden administration was reluctant to sell to India, largely for environmental reasons. President Trump obviously doesn't have those environmental concerns. He's all about drilling and selling and getting the prices low, and then being the number one energy supplier, perhaps for India and even other nations around the world. India seems to be amenable to that. They've been buying a lot of for the start of the Ukraine war. Prime Minister Modi also goes back with a big symbolic win, particularly for people back at home, because one of the most wanted Mumbai terror suspects, Mr. Rana, who was linked to the 2008 attacks that killed more than 160 people, he is now has the green light from the U.S. Supreme Court to be extradited back to India, and so he will face justice there. So that's another something that Prime Minister Modi can bring back, even though the threat of these these tariffs is hanging over everything. It could really bite into the Indian economy. So they're fast-tracking their trade talks and hoping to have $500 billion in U.S.-India trade by 2030. We'll see how that all goes.
Yeah, we'll see what decisions are made between now and April when those tariffs may come into play. Will Ripley, good to have you with us. Thank you. Well, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is now one of America's leading public health officials, despite his controversial views on vaccines and public health policy. Kennedy was sworn in as Secretary of Department of Health and Human Services on Thursday. He says he won't get rid of any vaccines, but that more research is needed. CNN's Julia Benbrook reports from the White House.
Despite reservations from some lawmakers on both sides of the aisle, the Senate voted to confirm Kennedy largely along party lines, with just one GOP member, former Republican Senate leader Mitch McConnell, voting against his confirmation, underscoring the degree to which the Trump White House has been able to keep the party in line throughout the confirmation process.
I think we're greatly disappointed in any Republican who chooses willfully to vote against the president's exceptionally qualified cabinet nominees and picks to lead his America First administration.
McConnell, who is a survivor of childhood polio, explained his vote in a statement, writing, quote, "In my lifetime, I've watched vaccines save millions of lives from devastating diseases across America and around the world. I will not condone the relitigation of proven cures, and neither will millions of Americans who credit their survival and quality of life to scientific miracles." McConnell has now voted against more of Trump's cabinet nominees than any other Republican. He also opposed Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, as well as National Intelligence Director Tulsi Gabbard. This represents a remarkable shift for the senator in his 7th term, the one-time establishment leader, now a possible swing vote. Reporting at the White House, I'm Julia Benbrook.
The U.S. Justice Department is facing a flurry of resignations. Several officials left their jobs after refusing to dismiss federal corruption charges against New York's Mayor Eric Adams. That includes the acting U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York. President Trump says he had nothing to do with the department's decision to drop the case.
The U.S. Attorney has resigned over the DOJ's request to drop the case into Eric Adams. Did you personally request the Justice Department to drop that case?
No, I didn't. I know nothing about it. That U.S. Attorney was actually fired. I don't know if he or she resigned, but that U.S. Attorney was fired.
For more, CNN's Paris Canal reports.
There's a growing crisis at the Justice Department, with multiple top officials resigning over a directive to dismiss corruption charges against New York City Mayor Eric Adams. The acting U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York, Danielle Sassoon, and at least 5 other prosecutors resigned Thursday. Sassoon said in a letter to the Attorney General that she could not carry out those orders because they are inconsistent with her, quote, duty to prosecute federal crimes without fear or favor and to advance good faith arguments before the courts. Acting Deputy Attorney General Emil Bovee ordered Sassoon to dismiss the charges, not based on the merits of the case, but because he said it was politically motivated and impedes Adams from doing his job, including carrying out Trump's immigration agenda. Sassoon said that amounted to a quid pro quo, something Bovee and Adams' attorney both denied. Bovee put the prosecutors working on the case on administrative leave while they are investigated by DOJ. He transferred the case to Washington for prosecutors there to carry out his directive. But that snowballed into additional resignations by officials in the public integrity section who quit in protest. Bovee could move to dismiss the case himself. Ultimately, it's up to a judge to decide whether to grant the motion. It's unclear if more resignations will follow. Kara Scannell, CNN, New York.
Well, first day was scorched by fires. Now they're getting drenched by rain. How a powerful storm is creating new hazards for parts of California.
Your wallet is always in danger. Criminals can scan and hack your information without you even knowing. Worse yet, it's bulky and so disorganized. But not anymore, because Slim is in. Introducing Slim Mint, an ultra-thin RFID blocking wallet that keeps your cards and cash truly protected. And now may be your last chance to get it for a low price. Slim Mint uses the latest RFID blocking technology to prevent thieves from scanning your wallet and stealing your info.
Having your information stolen is a nightmare. But with Slim Mint, I know I'm protected.
With money clips, cash can easily fall out. But with the auto-locking Slim Mint, your cards and money stay securely in place. Then just press the button to release the lock. Slim Mint is ergonomically designed to optimize space and keep your belongings organized. It has a built-in cash clip and a flexible outer band to securely fit your additional cards and your extra cash. Even with everything you see here in the Slim Mint, it's still ultra-thin. Bulky wallets are uncomfortable, but the Slim Mint is so compact it fits in any size pocket. Plus, it keeps everything easy to access.
Slim Mint holds everything, from pictures to credit cards, my driver's license. Yeah, it's still so thin.
Say bye-bye to bent cards and damaged magnetic strips. Slim Mint keeps them protected. It's crush-resistant and can really take a beating. Similar wallets sell for over $100. But call or click now and get Slim Mint for just $29.99. Order in the next 5 minutes and you'll get an instant $10 discount. So it's only $19.99. But wait, due to rising costs and supply chain shortages, this may be your last chance to get Slim Mint at this low price. There's a strict limit of 3 Slim Mint wallets while supplies last. You still have time to get your very own Slim Mint wallets, but you must act fast. Don't wait. Order now.
Call 1-800-504-6022. That's 1-800-504-6022. Call or visit slimmintwallet.com. So call 1-800-504-6022 now.
What do you do when your tire goes flat and there's no air anywhere to fix that? You reach for Bullseye Pro, the smarter, faster, hands-free way to fill it up with air. Bullseye Pro is equipped with a rechargeable lithium-ion power plant. So fast, so strong, and so convenient. It's like putting the power of an air compressor in the palm of your hand. Look, you can inflate all 4 tires of your car on a single charge, or inflate a bag full of soccer balls at practice. Bullseye Pro is so advanced, it has a built-in smart pressure digital sensor that gauges and automatically stops when the set tire pressure is reached. Plus, it can be 100% hands-free. You simply set the target pressure and walk away, keeping you out of harm's way. Bullseye Pro is lightweight, durable, and powerful enough to inflate this massive monster truck tire. Plus, it has 4 ultra-bright LED lights to safely inflate at night. Bullseye Pro comes with 3 custom air nozzles on board, so you can easily inflate pool toys, exercise balls, and more. Forget driving to the gas station. Bullseye Pro is your anywhere, anytime inflation station. Call or go online now and get the complete Bullseye Pro inflation system, all for the factory direct price of just $79.99. It comes with a 90-day money-back guarantee. Plus, we'll ship your entire order free. That's right, free shipping. But to really inflate this offer, we'll give you a 50% discount on a second one.
I was going to rob
Get
that
it all.
person.
An incredible value for one low price. Call or go online to order now.
To order, call 1-800-473-8032 or go to getbullseyepro.com. So call 1-800-473-8032 or order online at getbullseyepro.com. Order now.
Ritz chocolate cake.
You're gonna get sick. You need pumpkin.
I love pumpkin.
It's not food, it's pet insurance. So when you get hurt or sick and you need expensive medicine or surgery,
Pet insurance from Pumpkin can help.
go to pumpkin.care.
I'm Will Ripley in Taipei, Taiwan, and this is CNN. Welcome back. In California, heavy rain is forcing new evacuations in places already ravaged by wildfires. Burned areas around Los Angeles, including Altadena and the Palisades, are now at risk of mudslides and debris flow. Authorities fear the soil on the hills could become unstable and come rushing down with water. This time-lapse video shows just how bad the mud flow can get. You see it there sliding down a hill and flooding the area below. Officials say other places are also at risk.
This is a widespread event that could impact a lot of different areas within the city, but especially hazards in and around the areas that have recently burned.
The areas that we're primarily concerned about the slides is where the fires were, the burn area, the scar. And so that area is the area that we're concerned about, but there are a lot of individual homes that are against the hills where the mud can come down.
CNN's Stephanie Elam has more on how authorities are responding to the storms.
This is what they're dealing with here in the burn zones of the Eaton and Palisades fire. I'm in Malibu right now, and you look behind me, you can see how muddy it is here. Just this really sticky mud, and this all came down because of the deluge of rain that we've been getting here. Crews here reinforcing this barricade. You can see he's cleaning up some of the mud there. They're getting this opened up again, but this shut down the Pacific Coast Highway for some time. And what the real issue here is that it is very rural in some ways over here. And you can see this hillside. What you see how it's been all burned here, well, the fire, it burns into those root systems of trees and the shrubs. And when that happens, it loosens up that connectivity underneath the soil. And that means when it rains, it can just take all of that dirt and mud and cascade down the hillside. So this closed off the PCH for a while here. That's why they don't want people around here. Overall, the Army Corps of Engineers and FEMA said that they did scale back some of their operations as far as removing debris from the different lots that have been burned down, simply because they want to make sure they protect their workers, residents, and also the environments around them, and also making sure to protect all of that toxic ash that could be coming off of those lots, making sure that they're protecting it in these things they call sock wattles that will catch that, and then they will get rid of those the same way they're getting rid of all that toxic ash. So that's how they've been protecting this, but still, lots of sandbags still needed, and as you can see right here, a lot of work still going on here as they try to stop these mudslides and landslides from taking out roads and highways, as we have another band of a storm coming in.
There will still to come archaeologists sharing their new discoveries at the site of an ancient tragedy, the city of Pompeii. Stay with us for more.
Do you have a box of videotapes, film reels, or photos that are degrading? Legacy Box professionally converts them to DVDs, thumb drive, or the cloud. Legacy Box is simple and safe, with over 1 million satisfied customers. Visit legacybox.com.
They can come and just do a decent service.
bringing you unprecedented access to the White House, Capitol Hill, and beyond. Follow Caitlin for in-depth political coverage and analysis, and watch her on The Source tonight on CNN.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Casey Hunt. It's wonderful to be with you. This is a massive week in politics. I hate to kind of call you out right off the top. It is wonderful to see these women athletes finally getting the recognition they deserve. Do you ever want to try out and be James Bond?
CNN This Morning, today.
Welcome back. Dozens of World War II era unexploded bombs have been discovered underneath a playground in northern England. Construction workers discovered the relics while working on playground renovations. Over 160 practice bombs were safely recovered from the grounds, and experts are searching the area to ensure there's no more danger before resuming construction. Archaeologists say they've discovered the remains of a 2,000-year-old Roman basilica in the centre of London. Officials say the building was uncovered during work on an office block in the city's financial district. Historians say the basilica was likely the political, commercial, and social hub of what was then known as the Roman Londinium. The forum is about the size of a soccer pitch, and there are plans to eventually open the site to the public. Well, new Roman ruins have been uncovered in Pompeii, Italy, including what could have been an ancient version of Mar-a-Lago. CNN's Ben Wiedemann reports.
Around noon in AD 79, it's not clear whether it was the summer or the autumn, Mount Vesuvius began to erupt. Within 48 hours, if they were lucky, residents of the city of Pompeii managed to flee. The rest were dead. For centuries afterwards, Pompeii was largely forgotten until the middle of the 1700s, when digging began in earnest.
Minerals coming through humidity.
For Gabriel Zuchtriegel, director of the Pompeii Archaeological Park, the work here never ends.
Yes, the site is so vast, and it's 13,000 rooms excavated in 2.5 centuries.
There are still new discoveries. The latest, this lavish complex of baths, including a calgarium, a tepidarium, a warm room, and a frigidarium, a room with a pool of cold water, and a banquet hall. Archaeologists presume the owner was a wealthy businessman turned politician, busy wining and dining, winning friends and influencing people. Sound familiar?
I think it's a bit like Mar-a-Lago, right? It's not really a public place, but at some points people would invite stakeholders and potential supporters and friends.
This Roman Mar-a-Lago was under renovation. With the eruption, the work came to an abrupt end. This could be a modern construction site with tiles and bricks and gravel lying around, but these were the materials left behind by construction workers 1,946 years ago. Now, one of the reasons why Pompeii is so well preserved is that when the eruption of Vesuvius took place, it was covered by this pumice, lightweight solidified lava. Anna Onesti runs the dig site here. She says archaeologists at Pompeii need to pace themselves as technology advances. Pompeii still holds many surprises, she says, and that's why at a certain point excavations have to conclude so that we can allow future generations after 100, 200 years to resume digging and uncover more data. Stay tuned. There's more. Ben Wiedemann, CNN, Pompeii.
Finally, this hour, a close-call caption on camera. A man kayaking in Chile was suddenly swallowed by a humpback whale. He was dragged into the water for several seconds before the whale let him go. It happened as he was kayaking with his father at a popular tourist destination on Saturday. But despite the terrifying moment, both said they would kayak again. Incredible. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Linda Kincaid. CNN Newsroom continues with Ivan Watson after a short break.
Ritz chocolate cake.
You're gonna get sick. You need pumpkin.
I love pumpkin.
It's not food, it's pet insurance. So when you get hurt or sick and you need expensive medicine or surgery,
Pet insurance from Pumpkin can help.
go to pumpkin.care.
This is CNN. More people get their news from CNN than any other news source.
An unseen enemy. Internet and power cables. This is the sharp end of the mission, protecting our internet, carrying $10 trillion of international trade. NATO's mission, Baltic Sentry, is a rapid response to a new threat. This just gives you an idea.
The picnic, you know, the hike in the woods, all the selfies, and oh, and the time we went rollerblading and we watched the sunset, and we stayed up all night talking and sharing our innermost fears, and then what was that? That wasn't you? Even the skinny dipping and the oh. What are you saying? The drugs. Oh man, the drugs. I am a heavily medicated man. I'm not well at all. I'm a little embarrassed. Okay, the money here, and here, and here, and here. Okay, you better take off and take care. Okay. Bye-bye.
What you carrying lately? So what you looking for? Lamar always been a goofy motherfucker for real. Keep your eyes open.
Constantly evolving.
Russia's taken over a pretty big chunk of territory. And they also have said from day one, long before President Putin, they've said they cannot have Ukraine be in NATO. They said that very strongly. I actually think that that was the thing that caused the start of the war. And if a better deal can be negotiated, if they're able to make a deal where they can do that, that's fine with me. I really don't care. I want that bloodshed to stop.
Now, Ukrainian and U.S. officials will have a chance to discuss those issues face-to-face at the Munich Security Conference, which begins in the coming hours. U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance is set to meet Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky on the sidelines of the event. Vance's statement about the U.S. possibly sending troops to Ukraine would seem to contradict what the U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said just the day before. He said deploying U.S. forces to Ukraine is not an option. Hegseth also said it's unrealistic to expect that Ukraine will join NATO, which he partly walked back on Thursday.
These negotiations are led by President Trump. Everything is on the table in his conversations with Vladimir Putin and Zelensky. What he decides to allow or not allow is at the purview of the leader of the free world, of President Trump. So I'm not going to stand at this podium and declare what President Trump will do or won't do, what will be in or what will be out, what concessions will be made or what concessions are not made.
Now, David Sanger is a CNN political and national security analyst, and he's the author of the book New Cold Wars, China's Rise, Russia's Invasion, and America's Struggle to Defend the West. And I understand you're joining me now from Munich, David. Good to see you. What is going on here?
Good to see you.
Thank you. Is the Trump administration considering sending troops to Ukraine to secure a peace deal or not? Can you untangle the seemingly completely contradictory messages we're hearing from top Trump administration officials?
Well, the first answer to that question, Ivan, is I can't untangle it. I can tell you that I have rarely seen a more disorganized set of presentations to the allies by a new administration. Now, look, when you're new, you have a while it takes to develop policy, and so you go out and you give speeches that basically leave options open. Instead, what they've done is they sent people out who have gone out and made declarations of what policy would be that either contradicted their fellow members of the Trump National Security Team or backtracked. And Pete Hegseth was sort of in the lead here. He gave a very tough speech to the allies at a meeting of what's called the Ukraine Contact Group. It's basically the countries who are helping Ukraine. And his fundamental message, and this was Wednesday, was as we go into this, the Ukrainians should know they will never join NATO after this group has, for 3 years, been debating not the whether, but the when that they might join. He said that the territory of Ukraine would not go back to the borders that had existed before 2014, when the Russians took Crimea and then went and began to invade the Donbass, although much more covertly than when the war broke out into full-fledged conflict 3 years ago. And then the next day, he backed off of some of that. You just played some of that tape. And then Vice President Vance, who's giving a speech in a few hours here, said that they would put no deal. Well, Hegseth had just ruled that out. So clearly they are not coordinating.
Yeah, it does appear that way. And an interesting way to go into a negotiation, I guess. Can I ask, Volodymyr Zelensky has now gone on the record saying that it's important that everything not go according to the Russian President Vladimir Putin's plan. How's that looking so far?
Well, so far not great. If you actually did say that Ukraine would never enter NATO, and if you actually did say that Ukraine would gain a fair bit of the territory it's already taken, which is about 20% of the country,
you've gotten two of the most important of Putin's demands given to Putin before they began negotiating. Even if you intended to end up there, it's not entirely clear why you would start off that way. The Europeans who I've seen since I arrived here yesterday morning have been outraged that the president would give away that kind of leverage. But I think the bigger concern is who's at the table. The theme has always been, Ivan, nothing about Ukraine without Ukraine. And yet initially, President Trump, in his statement about who would engage in the negotiations, talked about his own negotiating team and the Russians, and nothing about the Ukrainians, which led Mr. Zelensky to say, I'm not signing or agreeing to anything to which I wasn't even a party. So then the president backtracked yesterday and said, oh, the Ukrainians will be involved in some vague way. He didn't make clear how. And other people will too. Presumably he meant the Europeans. Let's say it's not been a disciplined approach to the presentation.
Are you hearing any signals or, off-the-record background suggestions about what concessions the Trump administration might be looking for in a possible peace deal from the Kremlin?
I have not so far, and they have not indicated so far what they would be. The president has defined his operational objective here as, we want a deal. He has not said, in order to get a deal, we need X, Y, and Z. And, of course, during the Biden administration, there was no negotiation going on with the Russians. And I think you could argue that may have been a mistake, that President Biden and President Putin never spoke after the invasion 3 years ago. They met in person only once in Geneva in 2021 before the war started. So I think the big question right now is, what does the United States, what do the Ukrainians, and what do the Europeans demand of Russia? And that's got to include some security guarantees to assure that Russia doesn't just use the time to regroup and then reinvade.
Right. Well, I know you're going to be watching closely the upcoming speeches there in Munich, and I'm sure we'll speak again this weekend. David Sanger in Munich, thank you so much. Moving now to economic policy. President Trump has announced plans to impose sweeping reciprocal tariffs on all countries that export products to the U.S., and that could kick in as early as April. This move threatens to ignite a global trade war and further ramp up inflation, as new costs will likely get passed on to consumers. The U.S. president admitted short-term price hikes were possible and warned Americans to prepare for short-term pain. The new tariffs could have the biggest impact on developing countries like India. And it's Prime Minister Narendra Modi who visited the White House on Thursday and vowed to work on a mutually beneficial trade agreement. Mr. Trump said the trade deficit in India's favor is a big problem.
It has been, to us, just about the highest tariffed nation anywhere in the world. They've been very strong on tariffs. And I don't blame them necessarily, but it's a different way of doing business. It's very hard to sell into India because they have trade barriers, very strong tariffs.
All right, let's bring in CNN's Will Ripley live from Taipei. Good to see you, Will. Bring us up to date. What has the reaction been in India to the threat of U.S. tariffs?
Well, the timing of the announcement was certainly interesting to a lot of folks in Delhi and beyond, because did Prime Minister Modi know that just hours after landing in Washington that President Trump would be announcing these reciprocal tariffs, which would have a huge impact on India, which is the United States is India's #1 trading partner. Their tariffs are very high, particularly on items like automobiles, where President Trump pointed out the tariffs are upwards of 70%. They used to be over 100% several years ago. So India has brought the tariffs down somewhat. what, but President Trump saying this time around in this second term, with a much more organized and perhaps less patient administration, they're not just going to settle on pleasantries. He and Prime Minister Modi clearly get along. They have a good relationship. They were complimenting each other during this press conference. But on the Indian side, they knew, landing in Washington, that they would have to bring something to the table, some deliverables to move this trade discussion forward. And it seemed like during the press conference, the vibe was that that's what they were able to do. President Trump was able to talk about selling massive amounts of oil and natural gas to India in the future, aiming to be India's #1 supplier of energy. That's something that the previous Biden administration was reluctant to do because of partially environmental concerns. Also, they talked about cooperating on the F-35 program, joint development and production, AI, semiconductors, American-made nuclear reactors for generating energy, all things that will help to even out the trade deficit in the medium and long term, according to Modi and Trump, who stood at the podium there together. And remarkably, Ivan, you know from reporting in India, it's very rare for Prime Minister Modi to take questions from reporters, but he did next to President Trump, which is a sign perhaps of how confident he was walking out of this, that he would be able to come home and save face, despite the fact that these reciprocal tariffs, if they do kick in April, and if they do hit certain sectors of the Indian economy, it could take a real bite out of things. So that they're fast-tracking these trade talks, hoping to try to work towards making some kind of a deal. Also, importantly, I think domestically, the announcement by President Trump that the Mumbai terror attack suspect that's been held in the United States, surnamed Rana, who is linked to the 2008 attacks, the fact that the Supreme Court's now given him the green light to be sent back to India to face justice, that's a huge symbolic victory for Modi to take back home to his people.
All right. Very interesting to see these two leaders side by side. Will Ripley, live in Taipei, thank you so much. Still ahead, Hamas says it will release more hostages in Gaza. It comes after new signs showing just how fragile the current ceasefire is. Stay with CNN.
Are you still paying full price for gas? Stop leaving money behind every time you fill up. Start earning real cash back. Download the free Upside app to get cash back on every gallon of gas you buy. It's that easy.
I don't understand how more people are not talking about Upside. It's a free app that literally gives you cash every time you get gas.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I just got cash back for changing for already made like $300.
So I thought it was too good to be true, but it's legit. I'm getting cash back every time I fill up my tank with Upside.
Download the free Upside app now to get cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code ACE for an extra 25-cent a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's promo code ACE for a 25-cent a gallon bonus. Are you still paying full price for gas? Stop leaving money behind every time you fill up. Start earning real cash back. Download the free Upside app to get cash back on every gallon of gas you buy. It's that easy.
I don't understand.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I just got cash back for changing for already made like $300.
So I thought it was too good to be true, but it's legit. I'm getting cash back every time I fill up my tank with Upside.
Download the free Upside app now to get cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code ACE for an extra 25-cent a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's promo code ACE for a 25-cent a gallon bonus.
Your wallet is always in danger. Criminals can scan and hack your information without you even knowing. Worse yet, it's bulky and so disorganized. But not anymore, because Slim is in. Introducing SlimMint, an ultra-thin RFID blocking wallet that keeps your cards and cash truly protected. And now may be your last chance to get it for a low price. SlimMint uses the latest RFID blocking technology to prevent thieves from scanning your wallet and stealing your info.
Having your information stolen is a nightmare. With SlimMint, I know I'm protected.
With money clips, cash can easily fall out, but with the auto-locking Slim Fit, your cards and money stay securely in place. Then just press the button to release the lock. Slim Fit is ergonomically designed to optimize space and keep your belongings organized. It has a built-in cash clip and a flexible outer band to securely fit your additional cards and your extra cash. Even with everything you see here in the Slim Fit, it's still ultra-thin. Bulky wallets are uncomfortable, but the Slim Fit is so compact it fits in any size pocket. Plus, it keeps everything easy to access.
Slim Fit holds everything, from pictures to credit cards, my driver's license. Yeah, it's still so thin.
Say bye-bye to bent cards and damaged magnetic strips. Slim Fit keeps them protected. It's brush resistant and can really take a beating. Similar wallets sell for over $100. But call or click now and get Slim Fit for just $29.99. Order in the next 5 minutes and you'll get an instant $10 discount. So it's only $19.99. But wait, due to rising costs and supply chain shortages, this may be your last chance to get Slim Fit at this low price. There's a strict limit of free Slim Fit wallets while supplies last. You still have time to get your free own Slim Fit wallets, but you must act fast. Don't wait. Order it now.
Call 1-800-504-6022. That's 1-800-504-6022. Call or visit slimmintwallet.com. So call 1-800-504-6022 now.
Right, now get going. Let's wrap this up.
I'm Max Foster in London, and this is CNN.
In London.
Welcome back to the program. The fragile ceasefire between Israel and Hamas appears to be back on track after Hamas said it will release Israeli hostages this weekend as initially planned. Earlier this week, Hamas accused Israel of violating the truce and postponed the release of more hostages. In response, Israel said it would resume fighting in Gaza. After Hamas talked with key mediators, Egypt and Qatar, it said this week's hostage release will proceed. One Israeli official said it seems the dispute will be resolved and that Israeli leaders do not want to abandon the ceasefire agreement at this time. Hamas has used the hostage releases as staged shows of force in Gaza. The group is tightly clinging to power despite more than 15 months of war with Israel. As CNN's Jeremy Diamond reports, Hamas's perseverance...
All right, I'm going to bed because I'm tired.
For an Israeli government,
and I have work in the morning, as usual. I will see y'all back here tomorrow. Same time, same place. Be here, be square.
Weapons brandished to the world, these militants
L7.
delivering one clear message. We are undefeated.
Yeah, y'all have a great night. Happy Friday. And I will see y'all tomorrow.
Ground troops while dropping millions of pounds of explosives from the air.